So if you're watching this video, probably means you're alive. And you're alive. I was about to go to a wedding, right? A few days ago. And the wedding gets cancelled, right? And the reason it gets cancelled is because the bride's brother passes away in an accident. He was about to get married too a few weeks later. And he was just out riding, and then accident, died, right? And someone else died yesterday as well, a relative. And you hear people dying as well. So I was just thinking, right? I was just thinking, so many people are dead every single day. You are not. I am not. Like, even a few days ago, maybe not, like a few more days ago, I was just riding and I saw this old guy, old man, whatever you must say, right? And I remember when I was a child, that this guy, like this, like he was still old at that time. And I would, obviously you don't really think, you can't really remember, it's a long time ago. But then I saw him and I was like, he's alive. And you would expect, people just die, it is what it is. So I was expecting that, he was already old and he's older now, so he would be dead, and he's not dead. And then I was like, why is this guy still alive? Why am I alive? Why are you alive? Right? Because like, you have to ask yourself this question. So many people, right? So many people die every day. And we have not, we were talking, we have not died. What are we doing? Like, what are you even doing watching this video? You should probably be doing something. Like, you probably have more important things to do. What are you doing watching this video? You shouldn't be watching this video. So go do something. Forget about the video. And like, just think, and again, it's not something to smile about, but the reason I'm smiling is just because it's silly, isn't it? That a lot of people are dead and we are not. And we don't realize the value of our lives, and that we are wasting our time. Right? Silly, isn't it? And I've been trying to do that less. But just think about this, right? So many people are dying every single day. You and I are not dead. We didn't die today. A lot of people died. We didn't. Why? No, obviously, I don't want to go into that. Oh, it's because of this, because of that. Right? You tell that to yourself. But the point is, you're alive. Well, so many people died. And you're out here wasting your time, doing what? Spending time on social media? What are you doing? Most of the time, you're doing like you're behaving like a robot. You're doing things like automatically, like you're programmed to do things. Like you see yourself scrolling on your phone, right? Like, if you're watching this video, that's probably what you were doing, right? And what is this? Like, is this the reason that you're alive, to scroll on your phone? Right? Is this the reason, like, if you died, right, and you wanted to come back to life so much, and you actually did come back, would you be doing the same thing which you're doing now? Would you be scrolling through social media? Would you be escaping from things? This is an escape, right? Social media, it's an escape from reality because you have more important things to do. But because you don't want to do them, because it's not easy, because it's not fun. And what is fun, it's not really fun, but it's more like pleasure, cheap pleasure. Scroll on the internet, right? And I wouldn't even call it pleasure. It's just like you're behaving like a robot, right? Just clicking on things, videos, posts, stuff like that. Like it's a robotic behavior, right? Like you don't a lot of time you're not even able to control what you're doing. And I'm not going to say you cannot control what you're doing. You can. You just have to put effort in. And just think about this, right? If you died, you came and then you realized the value of your life and you came back, would you be doing this same thing? Would you be escaping from the life you have right now into this fake world? And this fake world is mostly full of negativity. I'm not going to say it's all negative, obviously, but a lot of it is. And I'm actually, I've been trying to avoid internet a lot. And I have to say, it's nice to live in this real world. It is. You know what's interesting? When you try to quit social media, you feel like you're going to be missing out. It's funny, isn't it? You won't actually be missing out, but it makes you feel that. Because you've just been doing this for so long. And you're just too attached to it. So even though when you want to quit it, you don't really want to quit it, right? The dopamine and stuff like that, right? So I feel better, right? That I am able to I just want to live in this world that is here right now, right? I don't want to live in some fake world, right? Scrolling through things I would a lot of times when I would be using YouTube on my phone, right? And it's funny, I would scroll more than I would watch videos. Like I'm scrolling to find that one video which would interest me, right? Isn't that, I mean, I'm sure it happens to you, right? And I was like, this is robotic behavior. What are you doing? Right? And I don't want to live my life like that. And you probably don't want to, but you are because you just have been doing this for so long. And let me tell you something which you may not realize. Listen, if you continue to do this, if you start to change now, it's going to take some time for you to fully get away with the social media stuff, right? If you start to do this now, the time, let's say, it's going to take a month or 2 months properly, and then you don't feel the need to go to social media, right? Let's say it's going to take 2 months, 1 month now. If you spend more time doing this, it's going to be more harder later, right? We think that it's going to be the same. It's not going to be the same. Why? Because you're doing something over and over again. And what is doing something over and over again? Practicing. You're practicing using social media, practicing being lazy. When you practice being lazy, you become more lazy. So, yeah, I would say listen, if you quit social media, your life is going to be so much better. I'll tell you why. You get so much unnecessary dopamine, right? Because of all of these social media scrolling and all of this stuff, right? And when you quit that, you will feel like you will not enjoy life, but that is not actually the case. Why? Because when you're watching, people, I don't really do that, but people watch TV shows. I used to, but still. Watch TV shows, whatever, anything to distract yourself, to escape. right? It gives you a lot of dopamine. And when you come back to your real life, it's not that much fun. So you don't really like it. It's not really that much fun. So you go back to using social media. So the solution is very simple. You have to quit it. And here's the thing. When you do quit it, after some time, you will actually like living in this your real life. Like you will enjoy it, because this is like, you just would feel like this is how people would like feel like years ago when there wasn't internet, the phones that much, right? This is how people felt, that they felt present, right? They like just being, like, just being that you are at some place. You did not feel necessarily like you don't necessarily want to be there, like, when you, because we just use so much social media and phone, internet, stuff like that these days, so we just get so much dopamine. And because when we get so much dopamine, our interest and motivation just goes down, and we don't really want to do other things because you get so much dopamine from doing easy things. And when you don't do that, you will want to do the things which you don't want to do, right? So this is the one thing I would say, if you do, no matter who you are, doesn't matter who you are, listen, you could be you could be some young man, right? You could be an old man, you could be anyone. If you do this, it is gonna help you. Like, listen, just think about this a little deeply. Like, do you want to live like a robot? Listen, you're not even living, you're existing like a robot. A robot doesn't live, it exists. You're doing the same thing. And the way you stop that is by stop using social media. Now you would say, well, you're uploading on social media. What are you doing? Well, I'm uploading. I'm not. Like, I don't watch YouTube unless it's for very specific reason, and if what I'm watching, I'm gonna actually use it, and that is very less. Again, you don't have to, like, if you might be you may use social media, again, you can use it, but don't consume. Because when you consume, you get too much dopamine. When you get too much dopamine, you don't really like your own life, because the amount of dopamine you get from all of these things is not what you should be getting. Like, you're not supposed to have this much dopamine as a human being. So just understand this, right? That you're alive. And you shouldn't be wasting your time living like existing like a robot. So I hope this video just makes you think about this a little deeply. What are you doing? Wasting your time. So many people are dead, you're alive. And how do you want to spend this time? Do you want to exist like a robot? Or do you want to live? Choice is yours. Remember, you're always choosing something. You might say, oh, it's not my choice, it's your choice. Listen, anytime you do something, you're choosing to do it over something else. It's reality. You face it or you run away from it, and you live like a robot. Exist like a robot. So I hope it makes sense what I talked about. And again, social media is a blessing, again, right? But it can be a curse. And for you, it probably is, because you're just not using it properly. Again, if you want to use it properly, don't consume, create, right? And again, you don't want to create, is fine. But if you're consuming, consume less. But consume good things and things which you will actually apply. Otherwise, you don't need to consume. Why? Because you're just going to be giving yourself so much dopamine which you don't need. You won't, because you get so much dopamine from doing something easy, you won't want to do other things. Makes sense? Hope that does, because it's not really hard to understand. So yeah, that's that. Just think about this. You're alive. So many people died. So use this time you have to live and stop existing like a robot.